Hello Aries, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for January 2003. As you come into this new year, I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail all the key influences particularly relevant to you. There's a lot to be excited about as you come into the new year, but with Mercury retrograde in the sign of Capricorn and also Venus tightly allied to Pluto, the planet of power, I think your role in life is definitely going to be something that's right at the top of your priorities, particularly professionally. But later in the month, I think it's your connections to others that really shape up. Mars, your ruler, ends a retrograde which began at the end of October on the 12th and forges a gorgeous link to the Sun in the last week. And also Jupiter in your sign is involved in a really positive new moon on the 21st. So lots of exciting things to tell you about. But if you would like to understand what this year will hold for you personally, and ascending above this zodiac broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast for the year. If you order it at the end of year 2022, you get the rest of that year free. But also my special package of 30% off, you will get your life roadmap, your character analysis, which can help you to understand some repetitive patterns that may have come up in your situation, but it can also help you to seize opportunities with greater conviction. I will also, in my package, give you your 12 zodiac sign written forecast for each of the signs, which gives you something to go back to as we go through this new year. Please see the link below for more. Also, if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining me. Please click and tap on the bell notification symbol if you'd like to become a subscriber. For all ongoing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. So Aries, as you come into January, so the Sun, Mercury in its retrograde, Venus and Pluto are all gathered in the sign of Capricorn. Now, Capricorn energy is very much to do with traditions, responsibilities, work. It can be to do with property. It can also be to do with our goals and ambitions. So as you align your New Year's resolutions, I feel a lot of your thinking is going to be about your profession, your job, how you earn money. And with Mercury in a retrograde, as we come into this new year, and also going through 3 earthly retrogrades in the sign of Taurus and Virgo, and then again Capricorn at the end of 2023, I think working with your resources in a way that extracts the most from your assets or your talents is going to be quite a journey for the whole year. But you do have a real slice of fortune as you enter 2023, because Venus is just right at the end of its journey in the sign of Capricorn. And although the energy that is created with its conjunction with Pluto is quite fated, suggesting that you could encounter someone this year of a very powerful nature who could actually be very good for you, or it could be someone who uses their personality power in some way potentially to control you. But Venus does forge a sextile to Jupiter in your sign, and this becomes really effective for you from the 3rd. So the first week of this month does have that bonus. Now on the 3rd, Venus makes the transition from Capricorn into the friendly sign of Aquarius. That gives you an opportunity to perhaps catch up with some people you've not seen over the festive period, but also think about your network and connections to others too. But on the 6th, we do have a full moon in the sensitive sign of Cancer. For you, this 4th, 10th house energy with the Sun and also Mercury in its retrograde in the 10th house of Capricorn, it's very much that old maxim of balancing work and life. And because the solar return for you is very much about taking responsibility and wanting to make the most of your talents to gain greater recognition or greater success, I think you're just being asked on the back of this particular full moon to stay very open-minded about how you can progress your hopes, because it actually links to Uranus, the planet of change but also of disruption, and Uranus at this part of the year is actually in retrograde still. So this particular full moon could be a bit unsettling, and it suggests that maybe you're going to have to be quite flexible in your approach to both home and work or professional situations. But on the 12th, your ruler Mars does go direct, and that's something to really savour. Because, of course, Mars has been in a retrograde since the 30th of October. It's near to 11 weeks. And through that period, particularly in October and November, it was squaring up to the rather draining and enervating energies of Neptune, which may have created some opportunities for you to heighten your awareness around literature or film or music. But in terms of moving forwards and keeping traction going, I think it possibly has been quite denying of drive. The good thing though from the 3rd to the 9th is that if you are prepared to be more experimental in your approach, particularly to worldly interactions, the Sun's angle to Uranus can be very positive for you. On the 18th, Mercury goes direct, and obviously Mercury retrograde can cause the usual glitches with not getting information back in such a timely way. If you have applied for a position and not heard back, perhaps even before Christmas, you may get a surprise email or letter which alerts you that this situation is still actually alive. Also, there is on the 20th the transition of the Sun into the sign of Aquarius, where of course it joins up with Venus, which moved on the 3rd, but crucially also Saturn. Now Saturn's going to be moving on the 7th of March 2023 into the sign of Pisces, but the new moon, which occurs on the 21st, actually sees Jupiter in your sign forge a beautiful angle to the Sun and the Moon in the friendly and inclusive sign of Aquarius. So for you, if you're thinking about your longer term plans and you want to steer away from just sheer goals and ambitions and really get in touch with what's really meaningful for you in terms of your connections, your friendships, or your long-term hopes, this particular new moon will be really helpful. But because by this stage of the month Venus is in a conjunction with Saturn, if there are any weaknesses around key associations or friendships, I think they could be revealed at this time, and you may want to have some kind of new start. The 22nd sees Uranus go direct. Its retrograde began on the 24th of August, and since then, if it has felt that there's been a lot of stress around your everyday finances and your hopes for the future, it really wouldn't be a surprise. Fortunately, Uranus and Saturn ended their very attritional right angle, which had gone on for near to 2 years, really in the first week of last month. But by the 27th of this month, Venus moves into Pisces, where it's exalted. Now for you, this is your 12th house, but of course it augments Neptune that's already in this area. So it just suggests, particularly as Venus is forging a lovely semi-sextile to Jupiter at this stage of the month, that what you do behind the scenes, particularly if you can be a bit more sacrificing to help others, this actually can be very powerfully important to you. And with the Sun forging in Aquarius, an amazing link to Jupiter in week 4 of this month, opportunities can start to line up for you in quite an unexpected way. The other thing to tell you is that all this month, Saturn and Neptune are in a semi-sextile. So Saturn in your sector of friendship, future hopes, and Neptune in a much more reflective area. It may be that if you can balance form and function in your approach, so you're very practical, down to earth, but also listen to your sixth sense, that can guide you around lots of the more physical elements of life. It's also true that from the 12th to the 16th of this month, I should say that Venus is in a square with Uranus. So to recap, Aries, the start of this year really is asking you to set goals and be very conscious of ambitions, but also see you being more preoccupied with your role in life when it comes to your professional situation. You need to keep this in balance with the full moon of the 6th, with your more emotional needs and the dimension of life, home and family. But as the month goes on, there's a lot of dynamic energies unfolding which can see you really picking up pace and connecting with people who share your passion, your interests, and perhaps some of the goals that you do set as 2022 comes to a close and the new year begins, perhaps those are going to in some way be modified with the need to feel engaged, committed and invested in whatever you do. So maybe some harsh worldly realities could come up as the month begins, but as it goes on, I think it's very much about how you can collaborate and cooperate with others, where you're going to tease open some really genuine opportunities. I'd like to wish you a very happy new year.